Hey, Dad.
Mom, hey.
Listen, Mom, I got bad news. We're not going to be able to make it tomorrow.
It's me.
No one was more upset than we were last year that she got into. I have to deal with the situation.
Every year, Brad and Kate spend the holidays avoiding their families.
No flights are coming in and no flights are going out.
This isn't happening. Do you have a sister airline?
No, I'm sorry. How about a cousin airline?
No, we don't.
How about like an airline that your airline's felt up before?
But this year,
Where are you headed for the holidays?
they'll be forced to celebrate
Hi, Mom.
It's my dad.
They just saw us on the news.
with all of them.
Okay, he's gonna give you a big hug when he sees you, Mom.
I'm not hugging anybody.
He's very excited about the hug.
From New Line Cinema,
We just got to get through these 4 Christmases as quickly and as painlessly as possible.
Merry Christmas, Mom.
Hey, Dad.
Good to see you, Mom. Merry Christmas, Dad. Kate, these are my brothers, Denver and Dallas.
You must be Orlando's girl.
Orlando?
We're all named after the cities that we were conceived in.
That's disgusting.
Oh, my God.
4 families,
Bradley, I'm not trying to be your father. I'm hoping for a chance to be your friend.
Well, you were my friend. You were my best friend. But now you're sleeping with my mom, and it's a little bit weird for me.
one day,
That's you?
Mom, did you put that on the mantle?
I love that photo.
You look huge.
I ate my feelings, Brad.
She must have had a lot of bad feelings.
no mercy.
You left me in the jump to die.
I thought you were waving at me like, hey, I'm getting past my fears. What would cross my mind over this to think that you could possibly be getting shanked by 4-year-olds?
How can you really appreciate someone for who they are unless you know them?
My brothers, they're trained UFC fighters.
Soldier boy, soldier boy!
You're a sissy.
All they want for Christmas
I just got to adjust it. Hold the damn thing. Too much.
is an exit strategy. Vince Vaughn, Reese Witherspoon,
Hello. Did Jackson projectile?
I'll move on it.
4 Christmases.
You gotta get out of here. I can't breathe. I'm gonna do it too.
Welcome to Dorking Out. My name is Sonia Mansfield, and you can't spell families without lies. Joining me is my podcasting sister from another mister and the co-host of Dorking Out, Margot D. Hello, my friend.
Hello, my friend. I'm just putting this dish TV on the roof.
Be careful.
That's never been done before, ever.
Ever. We are dorking out about 2008's 4 Christmases. I believe this was a request from listeners that don't like us, apparently, that they would do this to us. I don't know. It's directed by Seth Gordon. This movie has not 1, not 2, not 3, but 4 screenwriters. 4. It took 4 people. Matt Allen, Caleb Wilson, John Lucas, Scott Moore. You're to blame. You're to blame for this. And it stars Vince Vaughn and Reese Witherspoon. And you got Robert Duvall in there. John Favreau's in there. Mary Steenburgen, who we love. She's always delightful. Dwight Yoakam, Tim McGraw.
I mean, I love this cast.
It's such a good cast. There's a Carol Kane in there just doing nothing.
Kristen Chenoweth
Yes.
is in this thing. I'm like...
Sissy
Tim
Spacek.
McGraw, I think is... Sissy Spacek. Tim McGraw is... I love as an actor. I think he's really good.
Yes.
He's funny. John Favreau's hilarious.
Yes.
But somebody put it... there's 2 different trailers I found.
Mm-hmm.
And one of them's about 3 minutes. And it's pretty much the whole fucking movie.
Yeah, well, you're fine. If you haven't seen 4 Christmases, I can't even tell you to stop the podcast and go watch it. But it is streaming everywhere. Or you could just watch that trailer and you'll probably be fine. Like,
Probably.
I'm all, big hint, everyone. I didn't really like this one. I didn't, and I've never seen it before. I haven't seen it in the theater. Did you see it in the theater?
Hell no.
No.
It looks stupid. I like Vince Vaughn, but if Vince Vaughn got to a thing where he became a Vince Vaughn character in all of his movies, and Reese Witherspoon, as much as I love her, I kind of was like, oh, I think I know what she's going to do too.
Yeah.
And apparently they didn't get along, and it's like, yeah, I could feel that.
Yeah, they don't really have much in the way of chemistry, that's for sure. And let's just get into it. Every description I read of this movie was basically selfish unmarried couple learns the true meaning of Christmas. That's what I read. And first of all, I don't think you're selfish if you don't to spend the holidays how you want to spend them. Like,
yes,
if you want to go on vacation during your vacation time, you should do that. And I don't think it's a selfish thing, but Christmas movies think it's a selfish thing. So they are unmarried. They make sure to point this out all the time that they are unmarried. They have no kids. They've been together for 3 years. They live in the Bay Area. Apparently all their family lives within driving distance of each other. And yet
not a hint of traffic at one point ever.
No. Yes. And I realize, like, it's a movie. We don't want to spend a bunch of time with them sitting in traffic.
No,
like,
but it would have been, like, one scene would have made sense.
Yes.
Like, it's a little like, why don't they just do this if it can all be done in one day?
Yeah.
4 places?
Yeah.
That's just the whole premise. This movie.
I assume it's supposed to be taking place on a Christmas Day. So I don't know if they think there's just no traffic on Christmas Day. It's one of the worst days of the year to drive in the Bay Area. It is.
When is it a good day to drive in the Bay Area? That's the whole thing. LA and the Bay Area. Like, it's never good. And that's just part of it. And that's why people roll their eyes and they're like, oh,
yes,
it's going to be a pain in the ass. I mean, yeah, I'd rather be in Fiji too, but it begins. Let's start at the beginning.
Yeah, let's do it.
Because they're doing a thing where he's meeting her at a bar and he calls her a bitch, and then they have sex in the bathroom, and then they leave, and then and it looks beautiful. Like, the city looks great.
Yes.
The cable cars and stuff. And then they're like, that's just their thing. They make up scenarios.
Yeah,
and
this is
like,
their little
okay
role play game. That's fine.
Yeah.
You do you.
Fine. And yes, and they also like to take dancing lessons, and the 2 other couples that take the dancing lessons cannot understand the concept of 2 people not wanting to get married and wanting to take dance lessons together. Like,
yes. And
it's
oh my God, it's so, because they just assume that they are getting married, and that's why they're taking the dance lesson, and they both go off on these massive rants about how horrible marriage is, and they don't want that. And then someone asks them, what about kids? And I would love to say that would never happen, but it 100% happens.
Yeah,
like, people are not shy about asking that kind of question, which I always think is a very personal and strange question to ask strangers, but it is the thing that happens. And they're just like, no, thanks. That sounds terrible. And they go to, like, a work holiday party, and their coworkers are describing their Christmas plans, and their plans sound terrible. It's like, I'm going to my family's house where I'm going to sleep on a pullout, and it smells like cats or whatever. And they're like, we're going to Fiji. And they don't feel guilty about it, because they shouldn't, because you do whatever the fuck you want on your vacation. But they lie about it, right? That's their, like, we're doing charity work. We're working with, like, yes.
It's important to note that they're both from divorced families.
Yes.
So, and that's a big important reason why 2 people might be gun shy.
Yeah.
To do that. And then you're also like, that's 4 divorced families that you would be visiting. So there's going to be some kind of residual tension.
Yes.
So I get it, but they're, spoiler, they're in San Francisco, and Peter Billingsley's there because he's really good friends with Vince Vaughn.
Yes.
And John Favreau. Ralphie. Super tan Ralphie too.
Yeah.
He's looking good. But he said that they're fogged at the airport. Like, that's never happened before. And everyone's freaking out. You're in San Francisco. Like, that's always the thing you got to worry about. But they're like, you got to come back tomorrow, or you got to wait for the next flight. And they're just immediately like, no, we've got to go now. And it's like, okay, I get it. You're doing cosplay.
Yeah.
You're wearing the Fiji vacation outfits.
Yes.
You're psyched. But there's nothing you can do if the whole freaking airport is closed down.
Vince Vaughn is so shitty to this, to Ralphie, as the flight
and
attendant.
Ad-libbing. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, apparently this was filmed during a writer's strike, so there was no rewriting. There was a lot of ad-libbing, and you can definitely tell. Like, Vince Vaughn is doing his Vince Vaughn thing, and I like Vince Vaughn when he's a little bit more reined in. I like Vince Vaughn within limits.
Swingers.
Yeah.
And even Norman Bates, he was good as Norman Bates. Even
Yes.
though the movie wasn't great. I like Vince Vaughn.
Yeah,
I think
I have
Wedding
no
Crashers,
problem.
He's funny.
I have no problem with Vince Vaughn. It's just like this
But-
one, he's doing his thing. He's doing a shtick, and I'm like,
It's excessive.
yes. So a news reporter walks up to them while they're right at the counter arguing with the flight attendant, with a airport
The booking
worker.
person.
Yeah, which, again, doesn't happen, but whatever. And like broadcasts them all over the news as being home, which coincidentally all families happen to be watching the local news,
LOL.
on Christmas Day or whatever. So now they are forced to go to all 4 families for Christmas because none of them have the balls to tell any family member no, which they could do. They could just pick one. They could have just picked, but whatever. Fine. Okay, they're doing the thing. And the thing with like this couple is Vince Vaughn and Reese Witherspoon, like the couple, they are like lovey-dovey and perfect because everything is perfect. But because it's in their like controlled little world. But like the slightest thing goes wrong and they're fighting and they're losing their shit. Like, and it's
Which
so
isn't a good.
no.
It's a red flag, in
Yes.
the relationship. If you never have a decent argument, like a constructive argument, if everything is just airy-fairy and
Yes.
we're so perfect and in love, something's up.
Yeah. Again, 3 years together. All these families live around each other. They've never met the never.
Nobody once ever came to the city for dinner. You know what I mean? Or they never had a weekend where like somebody must have. They have nice homes. I mean,
yeah,
everybody. But they all have their trauma from their family members. And look, we all do.
Yes.
It sucks, but
yeah,
it's a little much here.
So we spend the rest of the movie with them as they go to each family member, each parent's house. So it starts with Robert Duvall, who I think might be playing my dad, actually.
Yes, I was wondering that actually.
Like, it's a house filled with like dead animals. He's very like coarse, I guess would be a good word to use. Not an emotional man.
No.
And
not very empathetic.
Yes. And there's a whole thing with like his brothers are Jon Favreau and is it Tim McGraw? Tim McGraw, I think is
Tim McGraw.
Yeah.
Which I didn't recognize at first. I had to look him up.
Yes. And they are like the opposite of Vince Vaughn. They are like, I love that. I will say, I think Jon Favreau might be the funniest thing in this movie.
He's hilarious in this movie.
Like,
I will say that.
He's
a lunatic.
He is all in on what he is doing. And the two of them like are basically he describes them as like ultimate like UFC fighters, but they do it for free. Basically, he's like they just like go around and like throw people around and knock them down. Like they're like cage fighters or whatever. And Jon Favreau's got like the shaved side head, like the tats all over. And he's got, kids and a pregnant wife. And there's a lot of jokes of like, haha, they're trash.
They're trashy and tacky.
First of all, like they serve them like, Ritz crackers with spray cheese. And they're like, ooh, it's cheese in a can or whatever, and I'm just like, that shit's delicious. Shut up.
It's goddamn delicious.
I was like, stop pretending that shit's not delicious. It's delicious.
That's why people keep buying it.
Yes.
It's great.
I don't care what your income bracket is. We all like spray cheese and Ritz crackers. That shit is delicious. Knock it off. And so that whole sequence, there's just a whole bunch of like the guys beating the shit out of Vince Vaughn, which is, fun for some people, I guess.
It is. Well, I did laugh when he like locked him in a headlock.
Yes.
To see Vince Vaughn, because he's such a big guy, being overpowered
yes.
the way he is. And his name is Orlando.
Yeah. Because All the kids have names named after the cities in which they were conceived in. So it's like,
do you know that's what Ron Howard did with his kids?
Oh my God.
All of his kids, their middle name is the name.
There you
so it's
go.
Bryce Dallas
Yes.
Howard. So that could be a nod to that.
There you go. So we have Denver, Dallas, and Orlando, but Orlando changed his name to Brad. And I'm like, you picked Brad?
Because, yeah, he thinks Brad's a great name.
I guess so. Also at this party, there's a whole, the Jon Favreau's wife, Katie Mixon, I think is her name, Mixon, gives Reese Witherspoon her baby to hold, and immediately the biological clock's tick, 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 the minute she holds a baby. So that will come into play later. Mm-hmm. And then we get, a whole thing where they're trying to, they don't know about the spending cap for presents. So they bought pretty expensive gifts for everybody. And one of them is a satellite dish for the dad. And I will say the dad does rightfully point out, how much is this going to cost me a month? Which is, he's not wrong, by the way. That kind of gift is an expensive monthly gift. And then there's just a bunch of shit where they're trying to install it and hilarity doesn't ensue, basically.
It's just been done. I mean, people going on the roof to mess with the antenna or put in the dish has been done.
And it's a lot of yelling.
I bet you Calvin would think it was hilarious. Because your son Calvin would think that was that scene.
He would think that scene is funny, but I can't imagine he would care about anything else in this movie.
No.
But yeah, so all of that happens. The Reese Witherspoon and Vince Vaughn are instantly fighting. So then they go to her mother's house, and that is Mary Steenburgen. And we get a glimpse of Carol Kane for a fucking second, and
Colleen Camp.
Yeah, and they're never they're not even used in this movie, which is ridiculous. And there's a million jokes about that she was a chubby kid, hardy har har.
The fat shaming, fat phobia is, and it's not like Vince Vaughn is slender. Why is he? But it is going on that fear of a guy is fearful his wife will get fat when they get married. Yeah, after they
exactly. And then she had a friend who is clearly lesbian, and she didn't seem to put any of that together. Hardy har har. And we meet Dwight Yoakam, again underused. All of these people underused, except for Jon Favreau, who fucking kills it. But everyone else gets nothing to do.
Well, he's a preacher, which is a fun concept.
Yes.
And he's dating Mary Steenburgen. He's a pastor. And then Mary Steenburgen has Kristen Chenoweth, who's great casting.
Yes.
Because they found somebody smaller than Reese Witherspoon, because everyone's a giant next to her. I bet filming it is such a pain in the ass. And Kristen Chenoweth is an amazing actress.
She is.
I mean, she
absolutely
always believable. And she's the one that had kids, and she's the one that's always been thin and perfect. And Reese Witherspoon, for some reason, takes a pregnancy test.
Yeah, like you do.
Peed on a stick. And then her niece comes in and then grabs the stick and takes off for the bouncy house, which you would never find me. I mean, I guess she's getting the EPT test, but still, what a more disgusting, germ-filled thing can we imagine?
I will say, single Sonia, when I was invited to kids' birthday parties, I would always get drunk and be in the bouncy house.
Oh, God, I'd be throwing up if that
all
were
the
me.
time. There's always pictures of me fucking around with kids in the bouncy house, because I was what do I care? Have a beer maybe, and then I would be in the bouncy house. But now, please, I would pee my pants. I would never be in the bouncy house.
It's just the germs.
It's gross.
Those kids, it's gross. It's disgusting.
Also, but it's a million kids. I was it's Christmas Day. What are they doing over there? Who are these kids? Who are these kids?
So she also gets breast milk all over her, or baby puke, one or the other.
Again, 4 writers to come up to reuse the baby throwing up gag over and over. Ugh.
And let's just so they go to church, and this is a great perform. I mean, Dwight Yoakam is a great choice.
Yes.
For this, I love Dwight Yoakam.
Yeah, he's good, and
he's good.
Tim McGraw is good too, but they're underused. They give him nothing to do.
He's giving a Christmas mass, but it's like an inspirational thing. Like it's very, what's the word I'm thinking of? Charismatic, maybe.
I guess but he's one of those pastors that's like probably raises a lot of money. A showman, exactly.
But they're like, I tell you, there are different actors that had their family as extras. I'm like, you can always tell when there's people who have their, because extras, like, give them their fucking due. Good extras make you believe in a scene.
Yes.
And it was sort of like, so, but she and Kristen Chenoweth have kind of a nice moment because they kind of both realize, like, they're being envious for no reason, and they should be in it together, that kind of thing. So let's go to Sissy Spacek's house.
By the way, her house is beautiful.
I would be so pissed he never invited me there. And Sissy Spacek, amazing.
Yes.
Funny as shit. She's great in everything she does. And the whole joke is that, and they give it away in the trailer.
Yes.
That his former best friend is now her boyfriend.
Yes.
I don't know if they're married or not. It's a funny premise, by the way. I do like that.
I did think it was funny when he's like, "Let me give you gas money." Like it's like such a fucking dad thing, like to do. Like, let me give you gas money. It's like he's a grown man with a job. He doesn't need your gas money, and he's like, "I'm just hoping that like you would think of me as a friend." And he's like, "You were my friend."
That was solidly funny, but still, it kind of goes nowhere.
Yes, and then they play Taboo together, which might be the funniest scene in the movie.
Yeah, but it got a little long for me.
Yeah, the idea that actually, I will say the funniest part is how crazy good John Favreau and Katie Mixon are.
That did make me laugh.
Yeah, like he's
who's your freebie?
Yeah,
Grisham.
Chuck is so weird. But it's like, it was so funny because he's eating these chicken wings, and like Vince Vaughn's like, what, like, let's play this game, and John Favreau's like, just like flip the tube, flip it, like, and he's so competitive, and they just destroy everyone at this game. Like, they're so good at it, they know each other inside and out, and I think it shows you that, like, I think we were supposed to be laughing at John Favreau and Katie Mixon and like how ridiculous they are, but I was like, they're an actual, like, that's a couple who really know each other.
They're a team.
They're a team, exactly. Whereas like Vince Vaughn and what's her face, Reese Witherspoon, like they don't know anything about each other at all. Nothing real. It's all fake. And I just like his like flip the tube and how they just, and the John Grisham is their freak.
That made me laugh.
So fucking random.
So I haven't played Taboo in a while. That sounds, maybe we should do a game night next time we hang out.
And so that would be fun.
Yeah.
Vince Vaughn is so shitty to her when they're at Sissy Spacek's house. And he's like, I'm shutting down now. He's like, he's a garbage person to her at that place when he should be working extra hard to make her comfortable there. And he's not.
Right.
He's doing the opposite. He's acting like a man baby. And then they get in the car and they're driving somewhere, and she decides that this is a great time to like tell him that maybe she does want to get married and have kids. And I'm like, to him? To him? To the dude who was just shitty to you at his mom's house? Like, it seems like a weird time to like bring those things up. And they have a pretty serious conversation about what they want. And she's like, I think I do want those things. And he's like, I don't. And she's like, all right, well, see ya.
Maybe we're breaking up. Yeah.
Yeah. And she's like, don't come in because I don't want to pretend with you. And she goes into her dad's house, who it turns out it's creep John Voight. We've done a whole episode on him on What a Creep if you want to hear it. And Vince Vaughn goes back to his dad's house, back to Robert Duvall, where he starts to piece together that maybe he's more like his dad than he wants to admit.
Right.
And she has a nice moment with her sister. And then John Voight comes in and was like, family's super important, blah, blah, blah. You know.
Vote Republican.
Vote Republican. Just don't, and you should have kids. Just don't get them vaccinated.
If they're liberals, they can't come over for Christmas.
But it's so weird because within 5 minutes that fight is over. Like he just turns around and he comes right back and he's like, I do want those things now. I had time to think about it for 5 minutes and I've decided.
Well, there's no traffic, so yeah. He could zip on back.
Yes. I thought about it for 5 seconds and I've decided that I do want those things too.
I'll never get anybody as hot as you, for sure. Because Reese Witherspoon, by the way, beautiful.
She looks gorgeous in this movie. Absolutely beautiful. And Vince Vaughn's there.
Yeah. Look, I like Vince Vaughn.
Me too.
And he's handsome, and he's definitely my type. I mean, but it's much here. It's much.
It's a lot. And so they're like, yay, we're going to be together, but we're not going to get married anytime soon, and we're not going to try really hard for kids. And then a year later, they're in the hospital. It's New Year's Day, I guess, and they're with their baby. And again, they've clearly learned nothing from the 90 minutes we just spent with them, because they have not even told the family that she is pregnant.
Now, how is that? She's so tiny.
Yes.
There's no way that she could be pregnant and people not notice.
That means that they didn't see the family again for the whole year.
Like 6 months at least.
At least. So they learned nothing.
Didn't tell them. So then once again, the news is like going up and down the hallways of a hospital.
Like they do.
Like they do, right? Like there's no one in charge and they just burst into her room. And that's how the family's going to find out. It's the first baby of the new year.
Yeah, they would. And that would totally not happen, by the way. Like they don't just barge into maternity wards.
They have to go through, we talked about this in What a Creep. Hospitals have and all places have a communications department. So when news crews show up, they have to go through them. So make sure it's nothing illegal is happening. You're not, interfering with somebody's personal information. Like you have to. You're not out on a public space. You're someplace else. I'm sorry, it's the communications person in me. But it's just sort of like, are you fucking kidding me? They didn't tell anybody in the family.
Well, it's like, then what are we fucking doing? Like we just spent we spent the whole movie with them while they went from family to family. And supposedly at the end, they're like, hey, we do want marriage and kids or whatever, but maybe not right away. And then they do it right away, but then they don't tell any of the family. So clearly
they didn't visit with them.
Yes.
They didn't go to any birthday parties or any other holiday things.
Yeah.
Like I said, she's tiny. If you're 6 feet tall, you could kind of hide a pregnancy, but you can't when you're that little.
Yeah, and then the baby throws up on them again, because again, they needed 4 writers to come up with this. The baby pukes on them, and then Vince Vaughn starts dry heaving because he can't stand baby puke, which I get it. It's gross, but also I'm like...
You're going to have a lot of it, dude. That and the poop. You're going to have to learn.
You do, and you do. You do learn, and you fucking get a tolerance for it. Trust me. I remember changing diapers before I had kids, and I almost threw up on my niece. It's fucking gross. But these are the jokes. This is the joke. I was like, this movie was just fucking joyless. It was joyless. There was nothing about it that makes me want to watch it again. Nobody learned. Maybe that's supposed to be the point, that nobody learns anything, but I didn't like it at all.
I think Jon Favreau and what was her name again? I'm sorry.
Katie Mixon.
They're great together.
Yeah.
But that's 10 minutes of the movie.
Yes.
If that. It's and the rest of it's I don't think these people should be together. Yeah. I think that he really needs to grow up. He always plays man babies. He doesn't ever play anybody who's, sometimes I like it, earmuffs. There's stuff that, but this is a case of just She's far too fastidious to be with somebody like that. Like, it's just, she just doesn't appear to be, as much as they make her seem like they don't talk to family, they just take off and do their own thing. And then she seems to be actually a very efficient person that cares about things and cares about appearances and cares about other people and wants to do the right thing and and so, like, it doesn't make sense that she's so, I don't know. It's just like,
he is like one of those man baby types, and there's just things in it where, like, she's the one who sent presents to everybody. Like, she didn't know about the spending cap because he didn't tell her, but it's also like she's the one who bought all the presents for everybody because he's a dude, and dudes can't do that. That's women's work. It's just like that kind of stuff in these movies is old fashioned and annoying to me.
Yeah.
And
the emotional labor.
Yes. Also, they're just, again, I don't think they're selfish because they want to spend their holiday in Fiji or whatever. They're just not nice people.
Yeah.
It's streaming on all the channels, so if you want to, like, put yourself through this, you totally could. It's definitely available everywhere, but I did not like this one. I don't know if our listeners recommended this one to us because they also don't like it and they thought it would be fun for us to tear it up, which you're welcome.
Or we're sorry. We want to like things.
We do. I love holiday movies. I really like. We did one. We did one last week.
Yeah, we give them a lot of leeway too.
For sure. I watch I watch Hallmark movies and Lifetime holiday movies. I love all that stuff. Predictable is fine. I don't mind if it's cozy. That feels cozy and comfortable to me, and I'm fine with it. But these are unlikable people. They're still unlikable at the end, and there's just no jokes for a movie that's supposed to be funny. I do not like.
No likey.
No likey. Will not watch again. We have never done a 2008 movie before.
No, we haven't.
So I can tell you the top 10 movies of 2008.
Awesome.
Okay. I'm going to guess that you and I probably haven't seen a lot of these. We'll see. Horton Hears a Who.
No.
I didn't have kids then, so I didn't see that one. Quantum of Solace.
Yes.
I did see that one, but I can't tell you anything about what it's about other than it was a James Bond movie.
Yeah. Daniel Craig.
Yes. Madagascar, Escape to Africa. Nope. Twilight.
Nope.
I did see that one on, I watched it on cable, and it's terrible. Surprise. But other people love it. People love those movies. Enjoy. Kung Fu Panda.
Nope. Sorry.
Wall-E.
Kid movies.
I know.
Wall-E is a bummer.
Wall-E is sad. It's a very good movie, but it's not one I revisit on the regular because it's depressing. Yeah, it's depressing. It's kind. The other one is Up.
No, Up, which I love, but I will. That the first 10 minutes of that movie can go fuck itself. It's such a heart-wrenching experience.
I sobbed all through the beginning and could not hold my shit together for the rest of the movie, basically. Yeah. And I'm like, I will never watch this again. Hancock.
I don't even know what that is.
I think this is a Will Smith movie where he's like a grouchy superhero.
Does he smack people?
For sure.
That's it. Get my wife's name out of your fucking mouth.
Hey, maybe this movie plays better now. Maybe we should watch it now. Okay, and we've probably seen all of these. Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull.
Who's in that one? Is that the son?
Yes, that's the one with Shia LaBeouf.
LaBeouf, right. And it brought back Karen Allen.
Yeah. It's not good. Not good. Iron Man.
I like Iron Man.
Yeah, Iron Man is good. And I know we both like this one, The Dark Knight.
Love The Dark Knight.
Yeah, it's really, really good. Hot take, everybody. The Dark Knight's really good.
Do you want to hear the top 10 songs that came out this week? Okay.
I bet you I know none of them.
Well, we'll find out. Number 10, Jason Mraz, I'm Yours.
Oh, shit, I know that one.
There you go. Number 9, Kanye West, Love Lockdown.
I don't know that one.
I don't know it either. Akon, Right Now, Na Na Na.
Nope.
You'll know this. 7, Britney Spears, Womanizer.
Oh, yes, I do know that one. I have it on many a playlist.
Number 6, Kevin Rudolph and Lil Wayne, Let It Rock.
I don't know that one either.
We're so white. Number 5, Pink, So What? I love Pink.
Okay, I do love Pink. I do know that song.
Number 4, Hot and Cold by Katy Perry.
Okay, yes.
I know that. Number 3, Beyonce, If I Were a Boy.
Yes.
Yep. Number 2, Whatever You Like, T.I.
Don't know who that is.
Okay, then you won't know this one. And this one I really love. T.I. and Rihanna, Live Your Life.
I don't know that one either. And I love Rihanna, so
I love Rihanna.
I will have to track it down and listen to it after this. What was I doing in 2008? Not listening to the radio, apparently.
Well, you stop listening to the pop hits station. You know what I mean? Like the top 40, whatever that you know they call it now.
Yeah.
As you get older, it gets a little beyond your grasp.
Yeah. I remember going through a period when Calvin was like 2 or 3 where I was like, I'm going to get back into music, and made a point to like listen to the top 10 songs. And I was like, this is too hard. I couldn't do it. I lasted like a week, I think. Let's talk about other stuff. What else are you dorking out about, my friend?
I went to a comedy show. I actually left my apartment to go into the city Saturday night, which I haven't done in a very long time. And the show was We Now Are Gay Apparel. And it's Dominic Pupa. He and his co-host Chris DeRosa have the podcast Fixing Famous People. And he does a show every year, and he's been touring around with it. And very funny. It was at the Cutting Room on East 32nd Street in New York. If you come to New York, I learned this. And by the way, I was with Kristen Meinzer from the Daily Fail podcast.
We love her.
We love her. So it was a big podcast love thing. And something I learned, I don't know when this started happening, but East 32nd Street in New York by Macy's, it's a Koreatown, and it's all Korean restaurants, and it's packed with people. And you just kind of go up and down the street and just kind of get your food. And it all the hip kids were there. I felt very cool.
Ooh.
And it was, the Cutting Room was a great venue. It was just really fun. And Fixing Famous People is a really hilarious podcast. So, and I think I was a guest on there once. So
I will put it on my list.
You should. I want to say The Crown on Netflix.
Yes.
They're dealing post Diana. Oh boy.
Sounds hilarious.
First of all, and I don't know if you watched it or not, but Dominic West plays Prince Charles.
He's too handsome to play Charles.
He's too handsome, and he's also a human being. Like, he's reacting like a human being would if their former spouse, the mother of their children died in this way. We know that he didn't. We know he's made of stone.
Yeah.
We know he can't even handle moving things on his desk without going, ee! Remember that?
Yes.
He has no. No, whatever. But here he's crying all over the place. I feel bad it makes me feel bad for the boys all over again.
Yes.
I mean, it's a bummer. It's just a stone cold bummer. The Queen is we'll just act like it's any other day at church. What? The Queen got some shit wrong, man. She really, anyway. So let's go to the more, then, okay, we'll go to the intense stuff, and then we'll go to the more fun stuff. So Paramount Plus, I don't know if you saw this. It's Born and Cyanon, and it's a cult that was based in the Bay Area in Marin.
Wait, shit. What's it called?
Born and Cyanon, so it's Synanon.
I will be watching this.
It's 3 or 4 parts. It's about this cult that started in Southern California, and then they moved up to Marin. And in the 70s, where the world was fucking wild in the 70s, and especially like New York and San Francisco, like what happened in those 2 areas in the 70s is just bananas. But of course, it all boils down to some basic dude who just wants some new pussy.
Gross.
But there's people there that they really didn't think things through, because at some point he decides nobody's going to have kids anymore, and all the men are going to get vasectomies, and it's like, well, then you're not going to get new members. Like, who's going to join that club?
Yeah.
But one of the guys from Airborne Toxic Event, which is like a band that I listen to, he was raised in this cult, and he's in this documentary. It's really interesting if you like culty stories. It's also
I'm all about it right now, so I will be watching that.
Yeah, so that's on that. And then also I did catch the Milli Vanilli
I saw
documentary.
that one too.
It broke my heart.
Yeah.
Really breaks my heart. I felt bad for them. Like they never got that Grammy.
Yeah.
It probably would have turned out much differently. I think anyway, I feel real bad.
It's bananas to me that the man who produced them had did this once before.
Yes.
And I have never heard that before. Like
that artist?
No, I had heard the artist before, but I had never heard that like all of that was like basically the same thing as Milli Vanilli, where like it was all about appearances and that somebody else was doing the music and singing and all of that stuff. And then he does it again with Milli Vanilli, and like I feel like he's paid like no consequences for that. And Milli Vanilli themselves did.
And it's a journey, like this ride that they were on. Like they became very egotistical. Like their fame was through the roof. And then they, nowadays, you got caught lip syncing on stage. Like nowadays, the next day you get burnt. But he was still months later, still putting out videos. I mean, anyway, I thought it was really interesting.
Yeah.
And then I'll finish this up with fun stuff.
Yeah.
Real Housewives Ultimate Girls Trip. It's the original New York recipe.
Yes.
Did you watch it?
Oh, yes. Yes. I watched like the first 3 or 4 episodes.
Yes. To watch Dorinda watch Kelly doing Scary Island on her iPad, and then Dorinda going, whoa.
So funny.
It's so meta, and Kelly is such an asshole. She's so full of herself and thinks she's so iconic, and she's a loon.
Yes.
And it's just, and I love my Sonia and Luann. They're, I ignore.
They're so fun together.
What's her face, but yeah. But yeah, it's, and then Kristen, I thought, which, she didn't have a very strong season when she was on. I think she's just bringing it. Like she watched all the shows. She knows all the trips. She knows everybody.
Yes, she is all in. But I did love that they bring up, and this was tricky. So I think it's Sonia who brings it up. It's like, oh, your husband got busted in the Dolly Madison scandal, and everyone's like, it's Ashley Madison. And Kristen's husband did get caught up in all of that, and we did a whole episode of What a Creep about Ashley Madison, by the way, if you want to go hear it. So
it still exists.
It's still a thing. And so she's like, yeah, he was in there, but he didn't cheat. And the look, every woman's face was like,
yeah.
They were like, not, it's like, sure, girl. But I kind of hated that they were like pushing her about it, because I'm like, come on now. I was like, this is her family.
Right.
Like, don't push her to like blow up her family after what they've gone. Like, it's her fucking business if he cheated or not, and if she chooses to forgive him or pretend it didn't happen or whatever. That's her business. They have kids together. Like, she's doing what she needs to do. And so like they're like pushing of her on it. I was like, it was kind of shitty.
Ramona. It was very shitty. And it's like, and Ramona and none of them would like it if it were happening to them.
Yes.
And then Kelly was giving her a hard time, and even they were like, what do you want her to do? You want her to get divorced? No. But then she just keeps pushing it, and then she keeps like, I took care of myself and my kids. Like,
good for you.
But also, it's not true. Her husband did pay for her, paid alimony.
Yeah.
He lived in the same building, and he got her this gig at Elle magazine, and everybody in the magazine industry knew she couldn't do shit and
Right.
didn't do shit. It was it's just, she's so phony, but she thinks she's better than everyone.
Yes.
And I like how game Kristen is.
Yeah.
And she knew that was coming up, and she
Yeah.
knew that it was, but I also loved it when Dorinda's like, the eagles don't fly with the pigeons.
So bring
And
your
she's
crumbs.
drunk. So bring your crumbs. And then Kristen just laughs because she thinks it's so because Ramona and Sonia are like, I'm going to look that up. And they start looking it up and making her explain it. And it's just, I don't know what I'm saying. I never know what I'm saying. That made me laugh super hard.
Sonia's just hilarious.
You can't take her seriously. And it's just, it's just silly. And Beverly Hills and SLC are firing on all cylinders.
Yes.
And the pirate party where Meredith was dressed like a fortune teller. Like,
They just need to realize they don't want to do costumes. Like,
Yeah.
stop trying to make them dress up and stuff. They don't want to do that. That's not their jam.
no. And that's what I got.
Yeah. I know we also both watched Taylor Swift's Eras Tour.
And it's amazing.
It's amazing. Like, I get why people spent the money they did for that show. But I'm glad I got to watch it streaming because you can really see everything, and just the set design, like how they move everything around, the dancers, the costumes, her singing, her interactions with the dancers, and looking at the and interacting with the audience and all that. It's such an amazing show. It's amazing.
And I was talking with people Saturday night that had seen Madonna had done a show
Yes.
in Brooklyn at Barclays Center, and by the way, 3 hours late starting it.
I heard that too. Yeah.
And that
Unacceptable.
Unacceptable. And that also, she played to like the first few rows. Like, they didn't have decent screens for people to see it. Like, I feel like in this Taylor Swift show, even if you're in the nosebleeds, you
Yeah.
can see everything.
Yes.
And you felt like you're a part of it. And I think like that's what I just love about Taylor Swift. She like is really good to her fans.
Yeah, I think so too. And I feel like she was giving them their money's worth.
Absolutely.
And yeah, I really loved all the dancers, and I think it was really good. I'm looking forward to seeing the Beyonce one. I'm waiting for that one to stream as well.
Same.
I also went and saw Poor Things, which I don't remember if I talked about this last week on the show. Maybe I didn't. It's the one with Emma Stone and and Mark Ruffalo and Willem Dafoe.
Did you like it?
I did really like it. There were Amal, how am I going to put this? There's a lot of nudity in it. And that's, again, like, fine. Movies can be for adults and have nudity. But it was to a point where I was like, gosh, I hope Emma Stone has an intimacy coordinator on this set. And I shouldn't be thinking about stuff like that when I'm watching a movie. I would have
You should just be enjoying the nudity.
I think the movie's really good, and she's amazing in it, and Mark Ruffalo is so funny in it, and Willem Dafoe is really great in it too. He's always really great, and the whole idea is like she's kind of this Frankenstein, like she's a woman's body with like kind of like a child brain, and she's like learning things about what life is like, and a lot of it has to do with sex, and that's great. But I would have liked if maybe we could have seen her learn some other things about life, not just sex stuff, basically. But I think I will get more out of the movie every time I watch it. It's really good, and she's really good in it, and she's probably going to start winning a lot of stuff for it.
And she should. She's really good.
Emma Stone is great. I don't know if you've seen the like actor on actor interview she's doing with Bradley Cooper right now. It's fucking hilarious. Like, I was like, she should have awards just for that.
No, but I will.
Because he's just being really pompous, and she's like calling him like Coopsy Poopsy and like making fun of him, basically. She's a delight. I like Emma Stone.
Me too.
She's lovely. I think that's everything on my list. I'm going to see Jinx Monsoon and Ben de la Creme. Their drag holiday show. And so I'll report back on that when we do our next episode. But this, I was going to say this was super fun, but was it?
It was fun talking with you.
Yes,
about it.
Exactly. It's always fun talking to Margot. It wasn't necessarily fun watching Four Christmases.
But we got it out of our system. We now know what it is.
Now we know. My friend, where can people find you on the internet?
My site is Brooklyn Fit Chick. I'm also Brooklyn Fit Chick at Instagram and Threads and Twitter, as long as that exists. And I'm at Brooklyn Margot on Blue Sky, and that's my TikTok. And I have the trailer on there for Four Christmases. If you just don't want to see the movie, you just want to know what it's about, it's all there.
There. Perfect. She saved you 90 minutes.
I did. Well, you're welcome.
You're welcome. It's her Christmas gift to you. If you like the sound of our voices, and I assume you do if you've made it this far, we also co-host a podcast called What a Creep, where we talk about creeps of the past and the present. Our current episode is about, is it Marla Hanson?
Marla Hanson, and she was a model in New York City in 1986, and she was attacked. She was slashed on her face by the orders of her creepy landlord, and then it was about how her trial and how fucked up it was and what she's doing now.
Yes, what a creep.
Ugh.
So definitely,
she's great, not her.
She's great. Not her. He's the creep, not her.
She's very inspiring.
Yes, you can find me at thesoniashow.com and the Sonia Show on X, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Blue Sky, Threads, and the TikTok. You can find Dorking Out Show at dorkingoutshow.com. If you have a request, this one was, if you want to punish us, you can send us your requests at dorkingoutshow@gmail.com. And also we're on all the social media channels at Dorking Out Show as well. So thanks for talking about this with me, Margot. I know, like, it was not our favorite, but it's always fun talking about it.
I appreciate it, if nothing else, for the John Grisham line.
He's my free pass as well.
Yes.